I reiterated our serious concern about the PRC providing components that are powering Russia's brutal war of aggression against Ukraine. China is the top supplier of machine tools, microelectronics, nitrocellulose, which is critical to making munitions and rocket propellants.
All right, there he is, the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, earlier today in China, accusing the Chinese of helping Russia in Ukraine. This at the end of a three-day trip that included talks with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. We weren't sure if that would happen, but it did. And we're joined now by Mark Kennedy with more on all this. Mark is director of the Wahba Institute for Strategic Competition at the nonpartisan Wilson Center, and he's also a former congressman from the state of Minnesota. It's good to have you back on the show. What about this idea of Blinken going over there, meeting with Xi, and apparently really going after China on Russia? What do you think was accomplished, if anything?
Well, I mean, I think a couple of things were accomplished. We have Xi that's heading over to Europe. And as you know, we've had an effort to make sure that we keep Europe aligned with us in terms of our policy towards China. The fact that he can point out all these different ways that Xi has been rebuilding the industrial base for the military in Russia is going to help Europe understand that they need to be with us. I think he's also saying, if you don't act, we're going to act. And that could be sanctions on a few Chinese banks that are helping to supply this effort. So he's presaging other steps that we will take and giving Xi a chance to change. But I don't think we're going to see him change.
Now, the meeting, the fact that it took place between Xi and Blinken to begin with, is that significant? I'm going to put up a headline about China's economy from the Wall Street Journal that starts off by saying China's economy is, quote, failing. And I'm just wondering if you think, you know, the Chinese felt like they needed to do this, like they now need the U.S. more than a few years ago.
Yes. Xi would not always meet with the Secretary of State. So the fact that he did meet with Blinken during his visit does say that China wants to be playing nice and being perceived as being receptive to the West. So I think this was a reflection of a very weak economy, that business has been pulling back. They want to be trying to put on an attractive face. And so I think that was a calculation that the Chinese took.
Now, years ago, during the end of the Trump administration, beginning of the Biden administration, all we would talk about U.S. China relations was trade. And now we're getting back to that a little bit. And I wonder, to your point, if the U.S. feels like it has the upper hand. Here's Blinken talking about, you know, things like solar panels, EVs, and the batteries in terms of what he sees as China's unfair trade practices. Watch.
China alone is producing more than 100% of global demand for these products, flooding markets, undermining competition, putting at risk livelihoods and businesses around the world. Now, this is a movie that we've seen before, and we know how it ends, with American businesses shuttered and American jobs lost.
Still advantage China, tide turning. How do you see trade, U.S. and China, right now?
Well, I think America is coming to a greater realization that the China practice is to subsidize to create excess capacity and then have that excess capacity flood global markets. In the past, it's flooded U.S. markets. This is really both we saw with the Treasury Secretary just a few weeks ago, as well as Secretary Blinken today, highlighting this overcapacity issue. And if we don't see a change, and China has not signaled a change, I think you're going to see some protections put up against this in America and in Europe. But I think it's also talking to the so-called global South, the developing countries, because this flood, as you heard Secretary Blinken say, more than 100% of what the world needs is going to prevent the developing countries from developing their own economies, because they will be flooded with cheap Chinese goods. They might have wanted crate batteries. China's going to sell it to them instead.
Final thing real quick. What about TikTok? From what I saw, I don't think it came up much. Is that surprising to you, given the bill that passed that could either ban it or at least force a sale by ByteDance?
Well, China's not happy about that, but the whole argument on TikTok is that they're a tool of the Chinese government. So they're kind of in a catch-22. If they very much defend it, then it looks like it is actually a tool of the Chinese government. And so I think they've taken a calculated risk. There's other things for us to challenge each other about, but it is something that China is not pleased with.
All right, Mark Kennedy, our China expert, the former congressman, thank you, sir, for coming on. I have a quick Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.